Hey, it's Dan the Real Estate Guy coming to you from my home office once again. Today's topic is the HUD Repo. You know, we've covered now about 15 other techniques to buy below market. This is about number 16. I get a kick out of this because as I've had to go back and remember all the different techniques that I used over the years to buy wholesale, to buy below the retail value, I'm kind of surprised on how many different techniques I use. I think I looked back at an early video that said I might have 7 or 8 different ways to buy, because 7 or 8 ways pop into my mind automatically that I've used the most. But then I started remembering some of the other techniques, and I noticed a video I said I have at least 13 different ways, and then now 15. This is number 16. I think we've got them all now. I don't know if I'm going to remember any more over the years, but from previous years. But this particular one I haven't used in many, many years. But the reason I want to shoot a video on it now and kind of bring you up to speed a little bit is it looks like it could come back into play. Remember, the benefit of being a member is that as these 16 methods, you know, I'm primarily using 2 of those right now, but as the other ones come back in play, as the market flattens out, as there become some sellers in the market that have some equity, you know, all the conditions that we haven't had now for a couple of years could come back into play. Remember, I bought and sold properties now for 25 years. It was this huge boom and this huge bust that caused many of the methods not to be in play. For the first time in more than 20 years, I remember, so 4 or 5 years ago now, maybe not even quite that long ago, but sometime around 05, 06, it was the first time in my real estate buying and selling career that none of the methods would work. None. It was a little bit scary. That could only happen with a market that does what it just did. Then a few methods started working again, and now I've just purchased number 50, property number 50 in this cycle. For those of you that have been following along, you know that in the down cycle of the 90s, the last boom and bust, I purchased 150 properties. I kind of think this one's going to go longer, and I kind of think I'm going to buy more than I did in the 90s. It's hard to say, but imagine how much you can learn from following those transactions, and that's part of being a member. You can follow the transactions that I'm doing on that property number 50. It's called Swallow's Nest. It's in the transaction area. You can review. I shot the first look video last week after I purchased it. The work's going to be done this week. We're going to go on the market soon, and you can follow that transaction. Remember, you learn from every transaction you do. So a few months ago, I remembered, and it was kind of brought to my attention by a local broker who specializes in HUD repos. You know, it takes a special broker. There's only a few in each area that are approved that have what's called a HUD key. They can get you in the properties. So it's not like the multiple listing. Even though they could be in multiple listing, they may have an MLS box. It's more likely that they just have a HUD box on them. But they're probably, that's the way to take a look at them, is using the HUD key. So you'll need a broker in your area. You can Google that and try to find an approved broker for HUD repos. While you're at it, you can check VA repos. Those are very similar in the way that they operate. Some of my earliest transactions 25 years ago were VA repos or a HUD repo as well. I think my very first one was a HUD repo. There's a video on my first transaction. It's kind of funny because everything that could go wrong did. But you'll remember I set it up so it was a small deal. If everything went wrong, it didn't take me out of the business. And I've counseled you in these videos many times, and don't take yourself out of this business. It's a great business. You don't want to make a mistake and take yourself out on one of the first couple of deals. So be very careful, very cautious, learn your stuff, know what you're doing. Value is key, all right? So the way the HUD repos work in my area now is there's a website we go to, and it may not cover your area depending on where you are. But why don't you look at this site? If it doesn't cover your area, you're going to need to find a similar site in your area. It appears to me it's just a company that HUD has contracted to do this part of the business. And when it was brought to my attention a few months ago, there were very few properties on there. Today when I reviewed it, I saw 6 or 7 properties that I may need to investigate to learn their value, to run my comps, to do my homework, and to be ready to bid on those when they're available for investors to bid on. They're going to do a little different probably in every area, but a lot of properties will go on, it looks to me, near retail value. They're hoping for someone to make a bid. It's kind of run like an auction. You know, it's you put in your offer, and on a particular date they're going to review those offers and take the highest net to themselves, whatever nets them the most money. So if you're doing what I'm doing, and that is buy below market, you almost need to be the only offer and see if they'll take that. And it could happen on some heavy fixers. It's just hard to say. It's just something worth checking out. In my area, the site that covers California, I think they cover northern and southern California. They cover Hawaii. I think they cover another state or two. I think they maybe do 3 or 4 states and a couple of other countries. I think that they cover Guam. All right, so it's www.hudpemco.com. So that's HUDPEMCO.com, www.hudpemco.com. Look at it, get familiar with it, and then Google for your state. If you're in a different state, different location that's not covered by PEMCO, you could probably look at the site and see if they have any links to other areas. I didn't look yet. But if you can't find your area that way, try a Google. Try Google even for local brokers that are HUD approved. They may be able to tell you the website that you can use for your area to gather information and find out which ones are ready to go. You're going to see some marked insured, insurable, or non-insurable. It just means you can't get a loan probably on the ones. If you're going to buy, you need to buy with cash. And remember, for our programs, the cash advantage is the best. You don't have to have your own cash. Remember, check out the video on raising money. It's just better to have cash that you can offer. You may be working with private parties and securing that money with a note and deed of trust. There's a video on that as well. And as you know, lately I like to use the single payment note. Make sure you look at that video, because with that one you don't have a monthly payment. Your investor is going to get paid when you sell the property. You're going to get what's over that amount. That's why it's so important to buy nice and low, to buy well below what you can sell it for, and know that you can get that higher value. You must have comps at the value, like type comps. Remember to check out that comping video. That's one worth watching many times. You need to become an expert at value in order to buy low enough so that your investors get paid, your fix-up guys get paid, and you get paid. All right, it's very important. Alrighty, in the website or a list that your broker may be able to provide for you, your HUD broker, there's going to be dates on when they can take these bids. I noticed on ours there's dates where they're going to take investor type bids. Others just say all bidders. So they're willing to take owner occupants, they're willing to take a look at investor bids, the whole bit. Alright, some of them are restricted. They're probably looking for homeowners, occupants that are owner occupant type style first on the nice properties. On the beat up ones that are needing a lot of work, they're looking for contractors and other people that can pay cash because they can't get a loan on the property to buy it. Alrighty, just impressed that the list has grown. In my area, it's grown in the last 60 days. So that's why I think this method may come back in play pretty soon. When I buy one and successfully close on it in this particular down cycle, you'll get alerted. If you're a member, you're going to get the alert video, and you're going to know that one of the other 16 methods is back in play. All right. Maybe doing one of these doesn't mean it's back in play yet. Maybe I'll report it, but I consider a technique back valid when I can do more than one. When I can do 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, that's great. Remember, if your goal is to do a deal a month, and you had three different methods that worked, that generated 1 or 2 deals a year, you're already halfway there. If you can get 2 of each and you're 6, that's pretty good. Depends on the volume you're looking for. And remember what we talked about before, and kind of like lines in the water. Each one of these methods is kind of like you're in a boat and you're fishing and you got a line in the water. Don't try to do too many and be bad at all of them. Find the ones that you think will work, test them, get them working, get that line productive before you say, okay, that's working, I have a system for it, I'm getting some volume but I want more. Then get another technique working. All right. So whenever we alert you that a new technique, not really new, but one of the 16 tried and true methods or techniques I've used for the last 25 years, as they become back in play due to market conditions and you're alerted, watch the video carefully, watch what I ask you to do to test in your area, and then do the test. See if it's a valid technique in your area and can start producing some transactions for you. All right, so watch the list. Even if you just find a website that covers it like I have for my area, watch it. See if it's growing, or is it staying the same? Are people buying them? Are they having lots of offers? There may be ways to figure this stuff out as you go along. As I buy one, it looks like only 7 or 8 on this website. I'm going to be doing my homework. I'll be submitting some bids in the next, say, 2 weeks. I think it's about 10 days away before they're taking the investor bids on some of these. So if I'm successful and I get one and it closes, I'll be reporting that back to you. Continue to learn all the techniques. Remember, you're trying to master valuing properties first. You don't know if you're buying below market if you don't know values. Then you're going to master some techniques that will get you the volume that you're looking for. All right, so that's HUD Repos for now. There'll be updates in the future. Thanks for watching. Keep in tune. Watch for the alert videos. Keep in touch with what's going on. This is an exciting time to work the real estate market. I'll see you on the next video.